And then I have some. Oh, all right, so. Okay, we're streaming. So now I'm going to call the Town of Rochester Town Board business meeting to order. We've already done the pledge to the flag and the roll call. So we are going to start with our agenda. The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the agenda. I have one amendment that I'd like to make, which is to have our first item be to give privilege of the floor to B. Haugen Depew.
I make a motion as amended.
Do you have a second?
Should we consider moving public comment up to the second item? Since it seems like there's a lot of people that wanted to comment on the specific.
Well, there's a lot of people here for a specific item at the end of our agenda.
Yeah,
Are you saying let's move that item up?
move it forward so that people need to get somewhere to the street.
Okay,
The
that's up-
discussion item, or do you mean public comment?
Sounds like people are here to talk about the speed thing, so they don't have to sit through the whole meeting.
Can you make the amendment that you'd like to?
I would like to make a motion to amend to add, or to move the public hearing section of the meeting up to the second item after privilege of the floor.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we've got, so that's to accept both amendments. Okay, so that's the resolution now. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, so that, so B.
Okay, I'm gonna come up front this year. Usually I don't, but I have more information to give this year. As everyone may or may not know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And as a two-time survivor, I've spoken at I don't know how many meetings now each month in October. The one thing I want to impress on you, since there seems to be more gentlemen and ladies in the audience, gentlemen, you can get breast cancer too. Believe it or not, you can. And at age 40, this is the information I have only speaks to the ladies, but this is, I speak to men and ladies. You should have your first mammogram, baseline mammogram at age 40. And every year thereafter until you're 54. And by law, you are entitled to this. There's some conflicting guidance about how often to start and when to end, but you are entitled in New York State to a mammogram starting at age 40, whether you realize it or not. And I want you to know that 1 in 8 women living in the US will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. 3 out of 4 of those diagnosed have cancer from no known risk, no genetic, no anything, no reason to have gotten this. 25% of the women who die from breast cancer are diagnosed in their 40s. But if their cancer is detected before it has spread, the chance for a cure is nearly 100%. All I can say is from 1997 till now, with 2 lumpectomies, I'm still standing. So this is very, very close to my heart, as is any kind of cancer. Because when you hear the word cancer, your brain immediately freezes when you get your diagnosis. So my suggestion is, if a lump is found, ladies or gentlemen, please take someone with you when you go to the next stage after your mammogram, whether your general practitioner has given you what he thinks is the diagnosis and maybe they've decided that it is, and you go to a surgeon, take an advocate with you. Please take someone to listen while the doctor is talking. because your brain has already half shut down. You may not think so, but it has half shut down. You will not comprehend what you are being told. You are so scared that you will not remember. But I really do appreciate you allowing me to speak this evening, the board especially. And I know cancer strikes to the heart of all of us. Very, very close to home to me. And I wish everyone would heed this, and just because this is Breast Cancer Month, please, whatever your cancer may be, please look for the best facility and read. There's a lot of things you can read on whatever kind of cancer you have. Be your own advocate, get an advocate to go with you. But again, this is Breast Cancer Award. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bea. You have a standing privilege of the floor at our October meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, we made a agenda amendment to have the public comment portion of the meeting now. So this is our public comment portion of the meeting. It's not a public hearing. This is the time for members of the public to come visit the town board and share anything that you would like with us. It is not a back and forth. So your comments will be made part of the public record in the minutes for this meeting. And if the board would like to respond or address anything that comes up, we have a town board member time a little later in the agenda that we use to discuss matters that come up. If you'd like to speak with board members one-on-one, you may do so. Our contact information is on the website, and that's the time to have a back and forth. Or if we ever have like an information or a back and forth session, we can do that at that point. So with that, I'd like to open the public comment portion of our meeting. Are there members of the public here who'd like to address the board tonight? In the back, you had your hand up first.
Oh. I had written you about the speed limit that was changed on, we might want to call it Mohonk Road, from Route 6 at the top of the ridge at Mohonk's entrance down to where 6 makes the left turn towards Algerville, but the speed limit was not changed there. It continued on 6A to High Falls, and it's been reduced to 45. And years ago, a bunch of the people who live in Algerville had approached the county to see about lowering the speed limit because it's 55 on Route 6 from Lucas Avenue down into Algerville and then up to the chapel. 55 is really much too fast for that area. And I figured if Marbletown can do it, we can do it. So I had written to Aaron and asked if we could see some advocacy from the board to approach the county. We had approached them and they just rebuffed us. And there are 3 businesses in the downtown area of Algerville. There's my blacksmith shop, there's Frank and Richie's bed and breakfast, and the Crested Hen Activity and Event Center, and Tributary Farm. And I will tell you, coming in and out of Tributary Farm, which is very busy 2 days a week, somebody's going to get hit from a vehicle coming down from Lucas around that curve they can do 55. And someone coming out of the farm trying to turn left or right could get hit. And it's only a matter of time. And I've been here 42 years and 43 years, sorry. And the increase in traffic has been dramatic. When I moved here in the early 80s, 81, a car an hour. And they would get lost and go, there was a triangle, 2 triangles in the road on my side of the bridge. And they'd go around the triangle with the arrow to High Falls and Accord, and they wouldn't know where to go. 1 or 2 school buses. Now it's a constant flow. And there are new houses as well. So I think it's only, reasonable to have the speed limit reduced at this point. And what I would suggest is, The article in the Freeman that alerted me to the speed reduction for town of Marbletown was October 3rd, and the title is Officials Law Lower Speed Limit for Mohawk Road. If you want to go to their archive and read the article. They say how windy the road is, and there are houses along the road. Our road is windier, hillier, and more houses. So one neighbor who lives up by the corner with Lucas Avenue, she said she doesn't go out to her mailbox until early evening when traffic is subsided, because she's worried about getting clipped. People make that left turn when they're coming south, and they're zooming along. The right turn, they're going a little slower, but still, they can pick up speed pretty quick. And the sight lines, there's only one spot, and that's from the entrance to tributary down to the firehouse. That's a straightaway. And everything else is windy and hilly. So with the number of houses and residents, and I should say too, pedestrians. I have, if you know the intersection on my side of the bridge, there's a guardrail there. There's a guardrail for a reason, and it gets repaired pretty much every other year. So anytime I see a pedestrian coming from Burn Road down Route 6, which is very difficult because the shoulders aren't there, I say, please walk on my driveway, come inside the guardrail, because it's just too risky to be outside the guardrail with the way traffic is. The increase in traffic, Marbletown tied their request to have the speed reduced because there are larger trucks now coming through because the bridge at Mohawk, the carriage bridge, was removed either intentionally or accidentally. No one seems to have an answer, but since that no longer has the height limitation, bigger trucks are constantly flowing through here. And we're all really at risk. And I've always had trouble when I had a dog and I would walk at night, even when I'm on the right side of the road, on the shoulder side of the white line, oncoming traffic would often come around the curve on my side, and I'd have to jump into the grass because they were close to the shoulder. People drive very fast now, and there are no good sight lines. Big commercial vehicles are not supposed to cross the yellow line ever, ever. Every third truck that comes across the bridge towards my side of the bridge is on the other side of the line when they're making the turn to go up the hill, and same with the ones coming down the hill. They're across the line into the oncoming traffic once they hit the bridge. I would say a good 50% of them. And it's illegal. They can get ticketed if any policeman sees them on the opposite, touching the line even with their tires. So what we're asking is if the town board could, whatever the procedure is, approach the county, because it's a county road. The state may have to be involved, I'm not sure, but if Marbletown can do it, I think we ought to be able to have it reduced. I would suggest from the chapel, where Route 6 takes that turn, from the chapel down to I would say Clove Valley Road extension could be 45, but from there down to Lucas Avenue, it ought to be 30. People at Rock Hill Road, and we have a couple of people here, have a hard time getting out of Rock Hill Road. So, all right, I'm done. Anyone else would like to speak?
Can I ask a question?
No. Ruth.
I'd like to add to this, over the 50 years that I've been in town, 3 times petitions went out concerning the traffic and the speeds on Lucas. And at one point, Terry Bernardo was able to look into all of this. And at that point, she was able to get the speed limit changed on Route 6 from 209 down to Lucas. It was changed from 55 to 45. And that still is like that along there. The other problem really is at the end of Lucas, where it joins 209. when you turn onto Lucas, there's a sign right there that says end 45. Traffic speed on 209 is 45 out there.
Yeah.
So the speed on Lucas is 55. And we have a lot more traffic now than ever. People are avoiding going through towns. They come Lucas. The truck traffic can be 75 miles an hour. It's incredible. So if you're gonna do anything about that section, think about some of the other places in town. Because a couple of years ago, there was a problem with a farmer and a tractor, and there are signs up now for a tractor. Right now, it's 55, and a tractor pulling hay bales around is not going 55, not going 45, maybe going 25, so it's a problem.
I live on Rock Hill Road, and I want to reiterate what Jonathan said about the exit from Rock Hill Road onto County Route 6, especially if you're coming off Rock Hill and you want to make a left. It's a blind corner there. You can't see when a car is coming up the road, and they come up fast, and there is a sign there that says blind road here, but nobody pays attention to that. And I can't tell you how many times, you creep out and you look, and then you go to turn and bam, somebody's coming quickly. There was a really bad accident at that intersection at one point. And we know who live there that you have to creep out and take a look and carefully move out. People who come to visit or, tourists or whatever don't know that. And it's really dangerous. One of the things aside from the speed limit that might help that is asking the person who lives on that corner of County Route 6 and Rock Hill, there's trees. If they could come down, we'd have a much better sight line there. And I don't know if you have the right to ask somebody to take down a couple of the trees, but it goes around and the trees are right there, so you can't see them coming up the hill, and they can't see that you're coming out of Rock Road. Thank you.
Yes.
Me.
Oh, you,
Oh.
yeah, sorry.
Hi, I live on Cherry Hill Road, and yeah, the sign just went up for speed 45. When you're exiting Cherry Hill going left towards Mohunk, there's like a second and a half where you get to like hit your acceleration and hope that someone's not coming over that hill. 45 is way too fast, and also we have so many people between Cedar Hill and Cherry Hill, and then I guess it's Old Clove who like walk their dogs. One of our neighbor's dogs was hit by a car this year and killed. And yeah, 45 is just way too fast. I don't know if you've driven down it, but as you're going by Cherry Hill Road and you're going down over the swamp, like we tried, like, okay, what is it like going 45? Knowing that when it's 45, people go 54. And there would be no time to avoid a pedestrian, and there's no sign there. So it's like, if you're to jump into the bushes, it's like poison ivy and Japanese barberry. So you're gonna have to get, I guess, injured either way. So to my knowledge, there's actually on Cedar Hill now, there's the 35 speed limit where it records your sign. I don't see why we can't just have that there. Because that seems to be like the only thing that works for slowing people down, is like being like, we're recording your speed limit and here it is for you to actually see it. Because yeah, it's not safe for the people that actually live there.
Before we get to second round, you had your hand
I
up.
had a very quick suggestion. Similar to this instance, there's a spot on Bird Road here going into town of Carhoxon. We are saying when it comes to the town towards East Street, there's a big bend and it's completely blind. There's a set of hedges as well. And it might be some place where you can pay attention and maybe put additional signs or mirrors, because I have run into some situations where I might hit somebody and could have been bad.
Yes.
So, yeah, everybody just said, so I live on Creek Road by the Allegaville Firehouse, and often take a little walk to the bridge over the Rhonda out there. And since the Eagle's Nest about 5 years ago, there's a lot of people, and there's even birder groups that are walking along there, trying to take pictures, and then walking around towards the, Crested Hen property. There's that, there's the firehouse. There's an Airbnb associated with Crested Hen that sometimes has 7 or 8 or more cars in that driveway that's right on Route 6. And as Jonathan said, I mean, everything he said tributary, but the whole thing is treacherous. When I go to the transfer station, I go over the bridge, I want to make a left onto Burn. And so that's where County Route 6, the hill goes down and curves towards Jonathan. I now stop because I know to, and I actually signal and I wait to make sure, because they go so fast that it's just very treacherous. And the other thing is sort of a question about process. If we're asking for a lower speed limit, if we're asking possibly for electric recording signs, or for a slow down or stop signs even, I'm just wondering who makes those final decisions. And if the board does determine that they're going to draft a resolution, I don't know if that goes to the county or wherever it goes, if you decide that, yes, you're going to advocate for us and work on this. In the meantime, what can we do as residents to help bolster this process? Who would we call or write to, and how would we help to support that? So those are all some questions.
First,
I also live on County Route 6, and when we were working on trying to get the stop signs at Lucas and County Route 6 several years ago, we had buy-in from the town, but ultimately it was the county that needed to pass that, and the state. So that process was a little cumbersome, but we were glad to have that buy-in from the town. And it had been many years that, accidents happened at that four-way stop. And actually someone even died, and, still it took so long. So I noticed today on Cedar Hill that it's 35. Is the speed limit there?
Yeah.
I never noticed that before. I don't know if that's a new sign or not.
The electric signs are.
Yeah, and so I thought, well, Cedar Hill and Cherry Hill should also be 35, and we should even be 35, because as Jonathan was saying about how windy the road is, and the trucks that now come down, barreling down, and they have a school bus going, the school bus was going like 60 miles an hour the other day. My dog was hit by a car, hit and run. Thankfully, he survived after thousands of dollars of surgery, but our neighbor across the road, their dog was hit and killed by somebody driving too fast on the road. So we just appreciate the town buying into this and recognizing the need for change.
before anyone speaks twice, is there anyone who hasn't spoken yet that wants to speak during public comment? Okay. B.
Okay. What I wanted to speak about has nothing to do with speed limits.
Chanterelle.
Member of the annual and whatever, that's not really our official name. I'm wondering when the town board is going to sit with us to discuss KFAS and Marbletown, although I know Marbletown is up to date with their documentation. I would like to know when the board is going to discuss with us the monies that have been set aside for Cohasset Axford First Aid, because there is no contract with them for 2024. And my question is, what are you going to do with the money? And did you get any financials? And I already know they have a new bookkeeper. And let's see, what else can I tell you? She's a damn good bookkeeper because I've worked with her. Or actually, she worked for me. And you'll probably get what you need, but I'm not sure she can get you cleaned up for 2024. But you still need a contract. So hopefully you're going to get in contact with the 3 of us that are left on the KFAS side because we lost our chair and, we're wearing thin. You got us down to the last knot in the rope. And you're not gonna have a KFAS commission, don't stand up and do something about it. Because you're not getting back to us. We're not getting any response. We don't know what's going on. I can give you more information than you can give me, as can Mr. Mioli and maybe even Mr. Vitti. And I'll tell you what, we're getting damn tired of being set aside, and we know that there's money there. And this town has to make up its mind what it's gonna do with it. And they should not get it because there was no contract and you didn't have any financials, but that's my personal opinion. You really need to meet with this commission because you're going into budgeting time. So you need to know, are you giving them more money after they haven't approved anything for 24? Or are you going to set them aside for 25? Because they now have a new ambulance, they bought a fly car, and you haven't given them a dime for 2024. So my question to you as the board, do you see a problem here? Do you see that they've done this all alone without your town money? And you've collected it in taxes? You have a problem. And I'm gonna keep going public with this until you sit down and meet with our committee. I shouldn't have to do this. As nice as I can be about breast cancer, I shouldn't need to do this for this ambulance squad. Mr. Coleman, you're our liaison. What the hell are you doing? And if you think I'm angry, you're right. Because it's wrong to do this. And by the way, Ms. Dinsdale, I'm very happy to see you here this evening because your attendance record stinks. Thank you very much.
Jerry?
Something nice to say about all of you, and especially Kate, Heritage Day. Thank you very much for doing what you did, Kate, and all of you. I think I saw each and every one of you at some point that day. And it was a very nice day. And after spending a week in the hospital, it was a really nice place, knowing right across from me, a whole bunch of firefighters in case something didn't go so well. And, but thank you, Kate. It was organized extremely well. And I hate to tell you, Kate, but I think I'm gonna vote for you to be running this thing long after you're not our town clerk and you retire. Sorry, but
Yeah, a long way to
that's
go.
gonna be my suggestion. But thank you, and thank the town board for helping put on a really nice day for our community.
Joe,
Thank you,
Joe,
Jerry.
you had your hand up?
I did. I just wanted to come and give a quarterly report. I was a little behind, and so I'll just hand deliver. So this is for Bubbtown First Aid. We're a little behind on our quarterly report. I just made 2 paper copies, but I'll send electronic copies for the rest of the board as well. No, it's all right. I printed one. And so I just wanted to give a quick rundown, synopsis of our quarterly report on Marbletown First Aid's service to our portion of the Rochester community. The agency continues to respond at a very high rate. We had 231 dispatches over the 3 months, and we missed 1 call, which was a 3rd call in the district. I think in that report, actually, I had it backwards. It wasn't a mutual aid call, 100% of all of our mutual aid calls. So 231 dispatches, missed 1 call, 39 of those dispatches were mutual aid. And so that is indicative of the fact that the investment that the town has made, that taxpayers, the community has made in its ambulance squad squads has helped to make the place a safer community, safer place to live and work. And so I just wanted to thank the community for doing just that. It's been a long process and getting us there as paid benefits. I'll let everyone know that we are in good, strong position financially between billing and the monies that are being paid by the 3 communities that would serve Rosendale, Marbletown, and Rochester. And that we have taken an incremental approach to increasing pay rates, pay scales, and will be, we were a little
little slow. We're behind a little bit behind other similar agencies. We're at now the first of the year at $21 for EMTs and $18 for certified drivers. And so, but that incremental approach has also paid benefits. We're at 35 people on our roster. People are gravitating towards the agency, so we're in a really strong position as far as morale. People are psyched to work. So good stuff. And then also I wanted to inform the community that we did buy another ambulance that we sought out. It was really somebody just kind of came across a very good deal on a used ambulance. We bought an ambulance for $50,000, has 50,000 miles on it. So we go to targeting 150 to 200,000 miles as a replacement number for these diesel engine ambulances. And so spent another $15,000 or so to outfit the ambulance. And we are able to now use that to cover our standby, what we call standby assignments, which include things like the Rosendale Street Festival, the Accord Speedway, and high school football games. But also that resource is now in the works here, available for mutual aid calls. Again, making the community around a valley a safer place. We've also filled out our boards, and now we have 2 new board members. That's Patty Vincent, who is a Rosendale resident, who's also a police officer in Rosendale and firefighter for the Bloomington Fire Department, and Alex Rammer, who's a High Falls Fire Department, who's a financial consultant as well. So good, strong team that we have on our board of directors. So little synopsis, public comment. I know you guys have a lot of ground to cover, but haven't been in front of the board in a while and wanted to just come. Thanks.
I'm just gonna ask Judith, did you want to share anything during the public portion of our meeting?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say I'm here because Lori, who was talking about cutting down trees at the Rock Hill intersection.
I don't know why, but your volume is really low.
I have it up as high as I can get
hold
it.
on just a second. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Might be me earbuds.
Yeah, you're just very quiet. And maybe your earbuds.
Maybe. I'm going to take them out. We'll see. All right. Can you hear me better now?
No.
No. All right. Never mind.
You can do a written comment and send it to our town clerk, Kate, and she'll circulate it to the board.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jonathan.
I just wanted to add, I don't think I mentioned that I spoke with Jesse, who owns Tributary Farm, and he said he'd try and come. He had other things. Maybe he's on the Zoom, I'm not sure. But he was in favor of seeing the speed limit reduced. And Frank was gonna check in, Frank from Crescent Pen is away, and he was gonna check in on Zoom, but I don't know if he did or not. But everybody, the 3 businesses in town are all anxious to see the speed limit reduced. So I should add, I wanted to do the Heritage Day, but it rained last year, and then this year I had a scheduling conflict. One of these times I'll get into town with my setup.
Great.
And demo.
Okay, last call for comments.
Can I clarify? Mr. Vitti is for the Marbletown First Aid Squad, and they get their financials in excellently. He also sits on the commission with us. The side of this ambulance commission that I was speaking from is the Cohonson Accord side. I just want to clarify that for the public, because there are 2 ambulances serving Rochester. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a brief transition that I'm going to make. Oops. Oh, goodness. I have a little thing that I wanted to share. Sorry, guys, I have a little technical thing. There we go.
I was just gonna say, maybe we can do this, I don't know. Who's the-
Are we done?
The public comment portion is over. We still have a full meeting agenda. We will be discussing, we do have an agenda item to discuss, the topic that you came about, but it's not until the end, and we have in between, we have interviews that'll be an executive session starting at 8. So right now, we're just gonna go through our agenda. So. Yeah. Christina. Oh, you were? Okay. So, all right, but if you do want to stay, I'm gonna do some shout outs to people who I wanted to recognize. So, first, the supervisor's financial report, I have it. We have another agenda that there it is. Revenue, general fund, $166,662. Highway, $661,140.48. Our expenditures, $193,967.05. Highway fund, $91,163.57. Street lighting fund, $433.56. 0 from capital, $5,750 from the ambulance fund, and $1,935.51 from escrow. So that's and then abstract that we approved. So for the supervisor's report, I wanted to start the tradition of doing a recognition to sort of show some of the things that have happened in town that I think should be called out. So let me see if this will advance. So my first recognition award is for best team effort for the community center yard cleanup. I wanted to first recognize for outstanding spirit, Bethany and Matt Denon, because they came the weekend before the after school program started, and they did a lot of work on their own time, cleaning up and weeding, and just, I didn't even know that was happening. And Ashley brought this to my attention and wanted to make sure that they were recognized for that service, and just like a really wonderful spirit of wanting to get things done. So thank you so much, Bethany and Matt. And then nice job to our highway department that cleaned up the concrete from the Quonset hut, and it looked really good. And so I just wanted to recognize that it happened. We've been talking about it for over a year now, and it finally happened, and we're ready to move on to phase 2 of the yard area. So my next recognition is the Star of Rochester. This month is Heritage Day. And I first wanted to call out Kate Gunberg for being an amazing organizer. So thank you, Kate. Really beautiful. And then incredible community. I just wanted to recognize everyone that was involved in that event. And I know I missed them on this slide. So Friends of Historic Rochester, Ackworth Fire Department, the Recreation Department and Commission, and all the volunteers and people that made that event incredible. So thank you so much. It was really, really great. So okay, so that's, I'd like to do this at every meeting. So I'm gonna stop that. Okay, so my next is correspondence report. Oh my goodness. Gotta pull that up too. The correspondences that I wanted to draw the board's attention to, I sent this as a separate email. So. All right, so what I shared with the board are some emails that are just like people reaching out that I don't think should just be to town supervisor. It's things that I think, it's mostly everything that comes in, but things that I think that the town board should be aware of. One was a letter regarding just planning board process and meetings getting canceled because there's not a quorum, and the in-process applicant being concerned about how that's going to impact their project. So I thought I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I also, I shared some trainings that I thought might be really good. The one that I wanted to call out is in November. It's called A Faster and Better Comprehensive Plan. I'd like to register for that. I'd like to encourage board members to register for that because that is something that I would like us to do next year. And then just various correspondence. I did get an email requesting use of the municipal lot. So I wanted to kind of put that to Mary Lou, because my understanding of our law is that it's very specific to town events and not other events, that I could give permission for that. Another training at the end of the month.
Sorry, could we, are we able to offer to them that they could use this parking lot?
I was gonna ask Mary Lou, because technically this is a municipal lot. So any parking lot owned by the town is a municipal parking lot. So I just wanted to get clarification on what I'm allowed to do with that law. It says for town events and permission from the supervisor. So I'm actually not clear about that part of the law. And I do think that having people like register and sign up for use, like I don't have a problem with that as long as we like know. But there's another training, and then I have another training to forward to you that Kate sent me today on emergency services, like trainings for elected officials. It's basically to get to know what is available in the county. Like, so it's informational training, not like emergency services training. I have another a plea for traffic issues on Cherrytown. And then we got that there's some complaints that came in that I sent to the board. And then I also wanted to let you know that the roof was repaired. So I sent you an email correspondence, but that was just to let you know that the roof had been repaired and that we'll be paying that invoice. I also received a correspondence late this afternoon that I will forward right now. That is about a request for the town to sponsor an applicant with a grant application. So that is about all with the correspondence. Next up is my grant updates. So I just got done filing like 25 reports that were needed to close out the New York Rising Allegorville Firehouse grant. So that was a huge weight off my back. So everything is submitted for that, and it was a lot of digital report filing. We do for Bridge New York, for the Boyce Mill Road Bridge, I have an agenda item to update the work order on that tonight. And that will allow our engineering firm to handle the acquisitions for that are needed for that. Our bathroom, we have to submit a water test before we can move forward for anything. We did not get any bids on the JCAP courthouse grant, so we discussed last week that I'm going to talk to the justices, but it looks like because we haven't gotten any bids on that, there's just not a way to do that project by the end of the year, and our deadline for that is December 31st. Bridge New York, Project 32 Bridge and the Sundown Culvert. I do have a deadline of October 24th to get the initial paperwork for how we're assigning like the project manager and engineering firm and things like that. So that is coming up soon. I'll be working with the highway superintendent on that. Other updates, just some things the board knows we're in budget season. We are working very hard to trim down this year's budget and focus on our priorities, find alternative funding sources, and figure out how much of fund balance we want to apply towards the 2025 budget. I will be going to an office furniture store tomorrow to see what used and refurbished furniture they have, so we can get an idea of if it's possible to do all the requests that departments put in for updated furniture. I had my first accounting school training this week. So that was a 2-day online training through the Office of the State, or the Government Accounting through the Office of the State Comptroller. I learned a lot, and I'm also excited that there was a lot of things that I felt I knew about responsible fiscal management, and they were confirmed. So that was really nice. And it ended with talking about having a long-term financial plan, and that is something that I'm very excited to work on for the town, if I'm able to continue to do that. So just thinking about visioning where we want to be and how we're going to get there and do it in the most responsible way possible. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's any more exciting department or town updates. Upcoming board agendas, we have a lot of meetings coming up. So we have one on Monday, and then we have one on Friday, a week from tomorrow during the day. And we also have to reschedule our audit meeting. So that is going to be coming up. Just one update, we talked at our last budget meeting about how our attorney for the town, our attorney budget for the town is high this year, and we'd like to rein that in and plan for it to be reined in next year. So we've created a new working process with our attorney. So she will only be present at one meeting a month. And submitted an attorney report in writing to the board. And so we'll be attending our workshop meetings, and then all other work, or, you know, it is going to be more organized, and we'll be sending her lists or like requests for her to review. So that was in an email to the board. Tax collector? Town clerk report?
So for the month of September, $38,881.28 was collected for town clerk. I received yesterday, from Office of the Cannabis Management, the first notification of micro business for LK Wellness at 5010 US Highway 209. I have forwarded that on to the town board. There is a section on the back page that if the town board would like to have a 30-day extension on that, the town board is more than welcome to do that. I have received a resignation from Zachary Jarvis from the planning board. And that is it.
Okay, thanks, Kate. There was no highway report, though part of the backup, Jeff did request one of the discussion items, the removal of the stop signs on voicemail. So I did include that correspondence from him in our backup, but he did want to make sure that that was on the agenda. So also, just so you know, our interviews start at 8 p.m. So we will be going into executive session at 8. So we have 10 minutes to blast through as much of our agenda as we can. So I'm just we'll pick up afterwards, but there's going to be this executive session portion where we're interviewing people for the planning board in 10 minutes. So department updates, liaison reports. We can start. Who wants to start? You want to start?
I'll start. I don't have any,
Okay.
but I will just share what we were talking about, which is that the Northern Lights, everyone's saying they can see them, but I went outside, I couldn't see them.
Oh.
So if anyone has loved ones, tell them to go out.
Okay, so apparently the Northern Lights are visible right now, which is very exciting, and I've never seen them.
A picture someone sent me from 209.
Wow.
This is my house.
Oh
Oh
my God.
Pretty awesome.
No, that's they're lying.
It's
Yes.
real.
Right now.
And then there's a solar
Yeah,
flare
this was
down
like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
My husband just sent me.
So it's over.
For my notes. And Renee just got a text too that said, go outside.
Aw.
Emily,
Yeah.
is it over?
No, go. I went out and checked. I didn't see it, but I think it depends where
You
are.
have to be like, yeah, I think it depends.
But I think drive out to 209. This was taken at 209 right by Fox.
Hate to leave you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, go see it.
So Emily is now the official liaison to the galaxy. Renee?
I think I report from the ag committee, some of that we had already talked about last month. They would like to host an open meeting event for the farming community to share what they've been working on in the last year and hear from farmers about their concerns, questions, and or experiences with town of Rochester. The intention is to share some of the work they've done, conversations they've had, and give farmers some time and space to share with them. They're thinking of holding that meeting in February and should it be held at the community center. If so, when do we need to schedule this? They understand that the right to farm signs have been ordered. Do we know when they might be installed or if they've arrived?
I don't think they've arrived. I don't.
And I can forward this on too. They created an email address for folks to get in touch with them. They just wanted to make sure that it was okay that they use turagriculture@gmail.com. And they're not certain of what their terms are.
Oh,
So if we could clarify that for them. And their next steps is they're looking forward to having myself join them for the November meeting so that we can workshop the community preservation fund information. We feel we'd like more information before submitting a letter with suggestions to the town board and appreciate myself agreeing to join them. And I've set up a system with Carrie, who's basically been taking the notes that
Yeah.
we'll talk after every board meeting, so they're aware of what we're discussing.
Okay. Great. Charlotte?
Okay.
Start with my easy one first that's written for me. On Friday, October 11th, so tomorrow, the rec department will be hosting a youth pumpkin painting class at the community center from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Call the rec center to sign up. On Monday, October 21st, there will be a adult paint class at the community center taught by Assistant Rec Director Bethany Denon. This class is currently full, but stay tuned because they will be offering the same class again in the near future. So people who weren't able to get in will have another chance. The annual youth Halloween party will take place on Friday, October 25th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the community center. There will be food, music, and games. Come in costume and dance the night away. Call 845-626-2115 to sign up. Basketball registration is ongoing. On Tuesday, October 15th, there will be another in-person sign up at the community center from 6 to 7:30 p.m. If you cannot make it, feel free to call the rec department to schedule an appointment. And Heritage Day was a huge success this year. The pie contest was extremely popular and the pies were delicious. Congratulations to all the winners and thank you to all the volunteers. And I just want to say in a second, thank you for Heritage Day to Kate, not only Kate, but to the rec department and to all of our boards and committees that were involved and included for that. And then on to the housing committee. Just getting, they had some questions I need to ask you guys. So for an update for the housing committee, they were at Heritage Day, and we've started, our consultant has started with our housing site inventory and the work in the scope of work that we have contracted with the county with them. They were there. Thank you to anyone who filled out the housing survey that they had available for town for the housing stock, and what people were looking for in town, what they currently had. The survey is still open, and I'm going to be bringing some more copies of it to different areas in town to leave it for people to hopefully take. It is also online. And while our consultants were here and in state, because they both live out of state and work in New York at our booth, I took them on a 2-hour long driving tour of the town in the afternoon on Saturday last week. We got to maybe a third of the town, since this town has over 100 drivable miles, road miles, to show them different sites and to give them an idea of the different types of housing and what we've already have as current housing stock in Rochester. We picked 2 sites that we were going to be using for our example sites for a housing development in town, for the consultants to start working on, where they're going to actually do another community meeting and ask the community for input on a design and do actual design phases of development for these 2 properties. One might change though with news of things on our agenda, because one was 5010 Route 209 when there is a micro cannabis business being proposed. Not that it can be a mixed use with a residential structure. So we'll have to talk to the board now that that's come up. And the other one is Clocker Village on Saintsville Road that they're going to be looking at and designing around. And so, yeah, so we're really excited that that's starting. We had over 50 surveys filled out at Heritage Day, and more to come. The housing committee has requested that the entire town board please fill out the survey, so that they can know.
Just gonna help you where online.
Yes, so now I'm gonna ask just a couple questions from the housing committee. Can they, which I'm sure this is a yes, they want to use the town logo on the survey for the next round that they print, because they only have a handful left. They're wondering if we can do an email blast to everyone who signed up on the website for our notifications.
We'll do it as a news item.
As a news item, cool. And then same for open seats on the committee. They were wondering if we could maybe do an email blast about, because they are also looking to get some positions filled, especially with how much work and momentum is going on with the housing site inventory. All board members fill out. And then, last but not least, their meeting will be moved from next Wednesday to next Thursday via Zoom at the same time at 6 o'clock. They had a scheduling conflict, and they wanted to be able to meet with the consultants, and they weren't available at their normal meeting time. So they're mostly going to be working on the housing site inventory and all the work with our consultants on the different zoning code changes and reviewing everything for us. But the consultants were very happy. We stopped and got them pierogies on the way back to Heritage Day. And explored the trailer park that is hidden behind Taylor Rental, and they had no idea. And there's actually 12 housing units back there that you can barely see from the road. So that gave them exciting ideas. And then I informed them how you supply pierogies in a trailer. It was at the start of that business. So it was a great job, and I'm super excited for the momentum that's coming from, that's going to be coming from this consult that we have today.
Great. Michael, can you do like a 2-minute? Because it's 8 o'clock.
Sure. Emailed Spectrum to get status on the 3 project. It sounds like St. Joseph may be complete, but I have to follow up with them because it wasn't clear what they meant when they said it was whatever language they used. And they said the other 2 were on schedule for the end of October. I did talk to one resident that had seen some activity, but it didn't sound like the connections were actually happening yet. So I'll follow up with them and see what the status is on that. No ZBA updates, there was no meeting. Everyone got the constabulary report, so I think they'll have access to that. I did want to thank the constabulary for being Heritage Day though, supporting with the fireworks afterwards as well, so appreciate them coming out for that. Also in terms of the fire district, EMS, their support, fireworks and being available, cooking good food and making sure people are fed throughout Heritage Day. And yeah, I can save everything else for liaison.
Yeah. Okay.
For
Yeah, I think
board members.
that's a good, the constabulary, Rich, and the constables, they've been filling out like all scheduling requests. And so for 2 months, we've had a like completely scheduled court, security and court night, plus all of the various patrols. So thank you so much to Rich and the constables for that, and having them at Heritage Day was great. So, okay, so now we are going to enter into executive session for the purpose of conducting interviews for the whole board. So I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session at 8:03 p.m. for the purpose of conducting interviews for the planning board vacancies. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. So I'm going to, so for the public, the rest of our meeting will be in a separate YouTube